Today I'm going to show you how I put together my fire kits. Now I have a primary fire kit, I'll show that to you later, but these are the I guess secondary or backup type fire kits that I have. If the video looks funny, it's because I have a fisheye lens. But a fire kit is what I consider something that it gives me the ability to start a fire. So it's simple as a box of matches. So take your box of matches, put it in a plastic bag. If you want it to be waterproof, you can dip the heads of the matches in wax to make them waterproof. Then you just twist off the wax and then strike them as needed. There you go, that's the simple fire kit right there. I keep boxes of matches. You can get them packs of 10 for extremely cheap, like $1, $2. And I put those everywhere, in my car, backpack, in my pocket, things like that. So if you want something a little more durable than a box of matches, one of the fire kits that I like to carry is just uses a simple film canister. Take you some matches, drop them down in there. And this may not be the most ideal fire kit, but it is going to give you the ability to start a fire. Is it everything you want in a fire kit? Probably not. Is it better than nothing? Yes. So, the matches, these are not strike anywhere. Some people like to use the strike anywhere. These are not. This right here is part of the match box. All I've done is cut along the edges, both, and then put a little glue between them. And then I put a little tape over the ends. So, that gives me a surface to strike it on. Now, this is a cotton facial, 100% cotton facial type pad, and this one I've dipped in wax. So it's going to burn a little bit longer. And what I've done here is I've cut up, there's 5 main little ridges in it, and I've just cut them down separately. So I'm going to put some of those in my fire starting kit. So I've got about 5 in there. In any kind of situation, survival, maybe you're at your friend's house starting your grill, well, your fire starting kit's going to do you no good if you have one kit and you leave it at home. So that's why I carry so many of them. They're in backpacks, cars, they're just all over the place. So now this is a little bit better kit. It'll give you a little more versatility because it is larger. I used to carry cotton balls soaked in Vaseline in this. And I thought, hey, I can do something better with this. And these were like little sample makeup type things. If you don't wear makeup, maybe somebody you know does. Girlfriend or something, wife. And what I do is just take some Vaseline and just fill them up. And it'll hold about the same amount of petroleum jelly that I would normally put on about 4 of the cotton pads. So rather than wasting time doing that, this one right here is already full of the stuff, so drop it right down in there. And again, this will be my primary source this time. If you watch the first part of the video, I showed you unboxing some of these fire stills. This is one of the smaller ones with the fire striker. And what I've done is I've put this fire still in my drill, and then I took a hacksaw and drilled around the end of it. And that gave me a little bit of a ridge and a place to secure my string to. That way it keeps the flint and steel together. So won't lose them. And you can be generous with the amount of string, put plenty of it. I don't know if I've mentioned it yet, but if the video looks funny, it's because I'm using a fisheye lens on my camera for this close-up. And now, same thing, I'm going to take some of these cotton patches that have been soaked in wax, put those down in there. And then since flint is, it's a little more challenging method to start a fire, it helps to have something like cotton or lint to catch the spark. I'm going to put those down in there. And what I've done is just taken the regular cotton pads and just cut them in half. And guess what? There's another fire starting kit. It's that simple. Here's another kit. Box of matches. Take these things. Right there. Put a couple of those down in there. That one doesn't fit as well. Granddaddy of them all fire kit. If you get trapped out, this is the fire kit that you want to have with you. I was carrying this in a plastic bag, like a heavy-duty plastic bag, and I carried it for probably about 4 years in that same plastic bag, and I used it all the time. No problems with it. I was watching a video on YouTube and I saw a guy putting his fire kit in a plastic container, and I thought, man, that's a great idea. So I picked up this plastic, I think some lunch meat was in this thing, and I put the fire kit in it and I carried it for a couple of days. I've had it in here for about a week now, and I carried it on the little day hike that I went on with the fishing trip, and I absolutely hated it. So I'm switching gears and going back to a plastic bag again. And the last order that I got, or the order that I just got in from Going Gear, they put all the fire stills in a nice thick plastic bag. So the plastic bag that I had worn out basically, and that's why I transferred it to a container. So guess what? It's going back into a bag, and the reason it is because it's fairly waterproof, but it's easy to pack, and that is the key. You want it to be easy to pack so that you'll always carry it. This thing, I didn't like it. It was a little bit bulky. It might even hold less than the plastic bag, but just the rigidity of the box and all made it harder to pack. So make sure it's something that you're going to carry with you. Here's the basic fire starting kit that I have. I've got some of the, again, in a small plastic bag. I have some of the cotton pads in here. Also have some Q-tips. Show you why I have those in a second. So that's going down in there. I have some lint right here. Some dryer lint. Take it, put it in a separate plastic bag. I carry a bunch of bags if you haven't figured that out, and you never know when you're going to need them. So here's a box of matches, normal box of matches. Well, you can take your normal box of matches and fit a few extra in there. So this one's full. Just be careful if they are the strike anywhere type matches, that there's not too much friction between the matches. You don't want them igniting, but I've done this for a long time and never had a problem with it. So essentially, that's another fire kit in itself that's going in my primary one. This is going to help keep the matches dry, keep my lint dry. It's like multiple fire kits in one, but it gives me different options. The other fire kits I have, mainly one option of starting a fire. This one, multiple options. That's what I like about it. Now, other things to add to the kit. Petroleum jelly. I like to keep the petroleum jelly separate from the cotton balls. If you heard me mention that I used to keep the cotton balls soaked in it, they're cumbersome, they get all over your hands, whereas I can take a Q-tip, dip it down in this little medicine container here, get some of the petroleum jelly on it in the Q-tip, put it right inside here, fold it over. Guess what? Your hands stay clean by doing it that way instead of trying to fish the cotton ball out of a container like that. So that's my reason behind that, and my reason behind the Q-tips. Also, it's kind of a small first aid kit having the Q-tips in themselves. A lighter, that's going in there. So that's like having two fire starting kits in one right now. A candle. I always like to have some sort of candle in there. these little swatches that are soaked in the wax. I like to have some of those in there. So this is just some cotton. The reason that I like to have some of the cotton, this is 100% cotton, is because I carry this little Altoids tin. This is one of the small Altoids tin. I have a hole drilled in it. This is how I make char cloth. So I already have a fire burning, and I can take some of this cotton, cut it up, and instead of wasting a fire, or not necessarily wasting it, but adding another use to the fire while you're cooking, you have some extra fuel or whatever, go ahead and I can make me some extra char cloth. If you're in a survival situation, a long-term one, there's a good chance that you're going to be able to find some kind of cotton while you're out, especially near a river. There's all kinds of trash, stuff like that, so you can make your own char cloth. Here's another small sack that I keep with some pre-made char cloth in it. And also some aluminum foil. This is probably a 1.5 foot section of it. It's always nice to have some aluminum foil. There's plenty of uses for it. So this is makes kind of a mess, so I'm gonna keep it down in here as well. Also, any of the rough edges from the tin or the foil, keeping them in a separate package will help prevent any kind of punctures in the bag. So I might even put that candle down in a bag. And then I was carrying this fire steel, and it's one of the cheap ones. It's greatly improved now that I added this striker to it. So instead of carrying that, I'm probably going to take this one and give it to someone. So even though it looks kind of beat up or whatever, it's still got plenty of life left in it. It does have the magnesium, so someone that doesn't have a lot of the skills to build a fire, they'll get a lot of use out of this magnesium, even though I didn't. You can see I just used it barely any. But I'm going to add this fire steel to my kit now. And this is the one that's the 3/8 inch by 4, so I can get a ton of fires out of this one right here, especially if I just use the end of it and slowly work my way down it. And I've attached this piece of cord to it. This is some of the paracord that I got, and how I attached it to it is I took well, it's hard to loosen right now, but I'll show you that it's on there really tight. So, and all I did was I took this piece of fire steel, put it in an electric drill, and then I took a hacksaw and just made me a little indent right around in there. Then I have a 2/2 hitch knot, which you know those are supposed to be knots to tighten up, and that's exactly what it's done. It's just cinched up on there. So again, plenty of cordage for my striker. You know, you don't want to be limited by just like that. You want to have plenty of room to it, so almost double on the cord. So that's going in there. A couple more of the cotton patches or stuff like that if I wanted to. A couple more of these things, always nice to have. And I've got room to spare. And that's a fire kit. There's 4 different methods. Char cloth, different kinds of tinder in there, a bit of a first aid kit by having those cotton pouches. Figure out, there it is, sealing up nicely. Okay, and there's the granddaddy fire kit.